Welcome to the Ironman Insider Podcast, presented by Morton. I'm your host, Matt Lieto. And on this pod, we have the great opportunity to chat with some of the fastest and most inspirational athletes in the sport that are redefining what is possible. And today, we have a guest that really is already breaking records and putting her name kind of in that bucket of redefining what we know is standard, maybe, or possible in Ironman racing. I'm lucky enough to be joined by Norway's rising star, Solveig Løvseth, fresh off her incredible Ironman Lake Placid win just a little over a week ago. And from her early days as a swimmer to becoming an Olympian and now a dominant force in her very short long course career racing, her journey is as inspiring as impressive. So we're going to dive into Lake Placid performance and her rapid kind of progression in the sport. So how's it going, Solveig?
Yeah, hi, thank you. Good to be here.
Good. You had a little bit of travel recently?
Yes, so today it's Friday. I traveled from Lake Placid on Monday, and then I actually had one day in New Hampshire, and then I went to New York since I flew from there, and yeah, did a bit of sightseeing there, which was fun. I usually don't take time to do sightseeing, but I feel like, when I come from a short course, you don't really feel like you have time for that because you feel quite well after the race and you just want to get straight into it because you race a lot as well. But I felt like after an Ironman, you deserve some days, like easy days. So yeah, that was nice. And then traveled home on Wednesday and back in Norway now.
That's awesome. Yeah, that is, and I want to talk a fair bit about kind of the difference in, Olympic distance training and racing as we get in here. But is it, does Ironman and long course racing and, your kind of hunt for the Ironman Pro Series, does it feel more civilized than short course racing? Like you're traveling less and you can like spend a little more time, or no?
Yeah, it actually, in a way, it feels a bit less stressful, actually. You have fewer races during the year, and I feel like you can focus more on each race, which is nice. And I really like that. I feel like I can actually take those really easy days and have maybe a bit more time to actually soak in each race as well, which is I like it. And it's also a bit motivating, like when you stand on the start line before a race, to know that I could take it a bit chill the next days after this. So
Already
yeah, I
thinking
like it.
after the race. That's awesome. I love it. Yes, it's interesting. Is it, and it's got to be a balance, right? Like you have in short course racing, there's a lot more racing. Obviously, like
Yeah,
with the goal being the Olympics, that's just one race, so there's a lot of pressure around that. But
yeah,
do you find but the racing is much more hectic, and like a lot of things out of your control can happen
yeah,
in short
sure.
course racing. So do you find that even though there's less races for you to perform well at, do you find that you feel less pressure at the start line in the long course race than you do short course, or kind of how does that even out?
Yeah, I definitely do. I think maybe it's also partly because I'm quite new in long course, so I don't put
Yeah,
a lot of pressure on myself either. But I think also it's I feel less pressure to um, do well in certain part of the race, like, or in short course,
right.
I feel like um, every moment could be like fatal in a way, or especially the start of the swim, where in sort of short course, often a lot is decided already in the 200-300 meters of the swim, like in the beginning of the swim. And if you're not where you want to be there, it's quite hard to make that up later. And especially if you're down a bit onto the bike, then it's really hard to get back into the race sometimes. Especially it of course it depends on where the other good cyclists are, but you're more dependent on that.
Yeah.
So in long course, it's getting more and more like this group dynamics. And of course, if you're on the 12 meter, it still makes a big difference, but it's not nearly the same as in short course. So I really like that feeling, to know that you have like you're gonna race for many hours. So if something goes a bit wrong, you can recover from that. So yeah, I definitely feel less stressed.
Yeah, I feel like people underestimate that stress in short course racing, right? Especially for athletes that, you come from a swimming background, but swimming at
Yeah,
times, getting that front group has been a challenge. And
Yeah.
I did a very small amount of draft legal racing, and there's so much pressure because that first, as you said, that first 5 minutes, a lot of it is up to you, but a lot of it is just up to the dynamics of what happens around you, and it feels like you're kind of
Yeah.
rolling the dice to a certain extent. And
Yeah.
especially like compared to a race like Lake Placid, where you're like, okay, I'll just like swim over to the white line whenever I feel like it and
Yeah,
do the
yeah, yeah.
best I can.
I sometimes like compare it a bit for myself to like biathlon, if you know that, where it's
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
if you have a bad shooting, you could just destroy everything, and that's not like luck either. Of course, like the shooting is based on your skills, but it's a bit the same with swimming. Like sometimes you can have a really good swim, and then you can set up the race really well for yourself. But
Mhm.
other times you just, or at least I just didn't have that swim at all, and then you have sort of lost it already.
Yeah, no, well, it seems like the long course racing is suiting you as far as your strengths go, and like you're able to depend on there. It doesn't feel like in long course racing, outside of like mechanicals and how your legs are on the day, it doesn't feel like there's
Yeah.
any like luck. You can make your own destiny, right?
Yeah. I feel like it's really about if you train well, you have good chances of doing well, which is
Awesome.
nice.
So you liking the switch to long course so far? Seems like you're doing pretty well.
Yeah, I really do. I think it's also just exciting to do something new. It's still triathlon, but it's obviously other race locations and new people as well, which is always nice to get to know new people, and it's a really good community in the long course world as well. And yeah, I just actually like the lifestyle of it. I was a bit it felt like a quite big decision for me to do long course this year, after many years of short course, and especially um, after many years with like having the national team around me, which
Right.
is when or in long course it's more you're more on yourself by yourself, even though I can still train with national team if I want, and I yeah, a lot of things are the same, but it's still more you're more on your own still.
Right. No, for sure. And it's funny, and I think people don't remember that you obviously did the Olympics in 2024, and I think there's a
Yeah,
assumption because a lot of people didn't see your name on result sheets in long course racing at the extent that you have this year till this year. But you've
yeah.
been 2023, you did your first 70.3 and won it if I
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, there you go.
I did one after the season, so in December 2023.
Indian Wells, right?
Yeah, yeah, that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
really fun. And then I decided I wanted to do that race, and then I basically convinced almost the whole national team to go with me. So it was a fun start to it.
It was fun for you guys, not for everybody in the US that was like, okay, I'm gonna get a race at the end of the year, get one last paycheck. You guys take over. But yeah, and then obviously I was impressed with the fact that you were able to get the leash from the national team and be able to do 70.3s, last year, considering it was an Olympic year as well, but got a couple in there.
Yeah. I think the national Norwegian team is quite flexible with that, and I think they also see the value in those sort of races, and the training for it is like good base training. Obviously, you can't do it too close into the Olympics, but I did
Right.
one in May, I think, and yeah, I think yeah, my shape was quite good at that time, so I don't think that affected my Olympic performance. But this year this year when I'm doing only long course, then
Yeah.
as it is right now, you can't really be a part of the national team as it is because it is for short course mainly.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll say we're all pretty excited over here at Ironman that you're joining us for this season. It's been pretty exciting to see, and I want to talk about kind of the other races you've had earlier in this year, because I do think Hamburg was an incredible breakthrough, right? And like, did you have expectations going into Hamburg racing against? I would imagine it would be easy lining up against Laura Phillip and Kat Matthews to not have any expectations going in.
Yeah. yeah, I didn't really feel any pressure to win that or anything like that.
Yeah.
So that was nice.
And
Uh,
having that performance your first go, like were you were you surprised at all during the race that you were where you were, compared to, obviously your experience in 70.3 racing, and did that race surprise you in any way?
yeah, a little bit. Not like in terms of my own performance, but maybe like the dynamics around me. Um, like what was really nice for me in that race was it wasn't any like super swimmers there.
Right.
So that was maybe like what the field lacked a bit. So it was Kat who was basically leading most of the swim. And I could like barely follow her feet, or I was able to follow her feet. So for me, that was really nice to actually be swimming in the front. And I was thinking like, oh, this is quite cool. I'm like front group in this race,
Yeah.
and felt like I had like control on the swim. And yeah, I hadn't really expected to be up over the swim in the front, so that was cool. And then on the beginning of the bike, I was also a bit surprised actually about that the pace wasn't higher. But I think that was, yeah, both Kat and Laura was a bit like tactical with each other. So
Right.
um, obviously they weren't riding as hard as they could at all, but I was just expecting the pace to be higher than it was. So I was thinking like, oh, okay, this is doable for me.
Right.
And yeah, then I still got really tired during the end of the bike, and I obviously had some problems on the way as well, which didn't help that.
Yeah.
And yeah, on the run, like in my head, I ran what I had hoped to run basically. So when I had trained a bit around that pace in training, and it felt really well in training. So I
Yeah.
had told like my coach, I said to Mikael like, I think I can run this pace, but he was more like, I'm not sure. It's not that many people who actually run
Yeah.
that pace. So he tried to like ground me a bit as well. But yeah, I think I did what I thought I could do. So then I could go up to him and be like, see, I told you I could run that pace. But
I,
yeah.
I feel for him, because if I was your coach as well, not knowing your training paces, I'd still be like, oh, that's pretty fast. That's pretty fast for the first one.
But it's
For
still,
those,
yeah, I was
go ahead.
unsure as well, of course, because you don't know for sure. That's the thing, right? You can have like a guess and think like, I think I can do this, but you need to do the whole race to actually see if you can do what you can do.
Yeah, and it can feel easy till it very much doesn't feel easy, and I think that's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
concern of a
exactly.
coach, right? And for everybody listening, a couple things I want to cover. Solveig said that the pace didn't feel that quick on the bike, and we'll just go and say that she rode a 4:24 in Hamburg on her first Ironman, so that's pretty
I mean, they
fast.
picked up the pace on the second lap, so that was harder.
Yeah, but 4:24, pretty quick, and 2:46 for debut Ironman marathon. That's crazy. That really is crazy. I'm impressed by that.
Yeah, I felt good, but then when I heard what Laura and Kat was running, I was still thinking like, oh, okay, so I need to rise my level quite a bit still.
Yeah, that's awesome. And yeah, so when you finish a race like that and you have that breakthrough performance, and everybody's saying, obviously fastest debut Ironman ever, and like, all these great things about how well you did, which I 100% agree. I was blown away by your performance. But in your head, do you look at that and do you pat yourself on the back for a couple days, or do you say, no, like those women were ahead of me. I got third place. I need to find a way to be in first place.
um, I mean, a bit of both, I think. I was really happy with my race, so
Yeah,
yeah, that was the main takeaway. But
good.
it's still really cool to see like how fast it is possible to do it, and I guess that level is just going to continue to be better and better. So I'm definitely also thinking about that, right? Okay, what can I do to be closer next time? Of course.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, it's convenient for you too, obviously, to have that result. And to be clear, I think that result was crazy, and you should be 100% excited about it. But to be able to have that result behind the two women that were first and second at World Championship, like
Yeah, yeah.
that's got to give you something, right? And obviously, you got a spot to Worlds this year. We excited to chase them around again.
Yeah, very excited. And yeah, you're totally right. I think when you if you're gonna get beaten by somebody, it's always nice when it's the world's best, right? Then you feel like, okay, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and it's the world's best with new confidence because they're the world's best, right? Like
Yeah, yeah,
always confident, but like they know where they stand and they know that they're, Kat's trying to get over Laura, and like that's why that was such a tactical battle. So I think it's
yeah,
to be in between those two fighting and come out right there is pretty impressive.
yeah. Thank
That's
you.
awesome. Okay, so now Lake Placid last
Yeah,
week, I was able to commentate. Pretty excited about being able to be the one on the mic for that. And as impressed as I was with Hamburg, to me that Placid performance was crazy because that course is so hard. Did you not think it was
yeah. It's
hard?
really different.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I thought it was hard, but
that's
it's
awesome.
hard
Yeah,
in different ways because when it's more hilly, you also get some breaks in a way, which you don't do in flat courses.
right. Yeah,
So, but yeah, in total, it was hard enough for me at least.
that's awesome. Yeah, so for those that didn't watch, she won Ironman Lake Placid in a record time by like 16, 17 minutes, something like that, I believe.
Yeah, I guess from the previous record, but it was a lot of people under that record in this race, so
Yeah. You guys
was a good
definitely
field in general.
raised the bar, but she went 8:43 with a 4:54 bike and a 2:46 run, and it was the same run split that you had in Hamburg, but Lake Placid is so much harder. Like to me, that the
Yeah.
fact that you ran a 2:46 there is just crazy.
I was surprised by that myself actually with that run because I was thinking like I'm gonna run at least 5 minutes slower than Hamburg was what
Yeah.
I was thinking in my head. So, but I guess it was just the dynamic of the race and that like I was a bit disappointed with my swim in that race. But as I said, like if you don't have your best swim, it's not over in Ironman, so that's nice. But also actually with my bike, but I hadn't really been feeling that well riding in the weeks leading up to the race. So what I had been doing like race pace in training in the weeks leading up to the race, it just felt so hard. So and
Okay.
I couldn't really basically I couldn't hold what I was supposed to do in the training sessions. So coming into the race, I didn't feel like my shape was exactly where I wanted it to be. So I started like a bit carefully on the bike. Like I didn't push super watts, but like honestly in my head I was still expecting to maybe gain a bit on the front, but instead I was just losing in every time split, and I was just thinking like, oh okay, maybe I just underestimated the others biking a bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, but actually like halfway through the second lap where I only had like 30 k's left, I just felt better and better on the bike. So then I was thinking like, okay, maybe I can actually hold a bit higher now than I could in training. So I actually increased the weight quite a bit on the last part, and
Yeah.
finally I started to gain a bit, but obviously I was still far behind on that point. So I think that was why I just started to run a bit aggressive. I thought like, why not try that and see how it goes? And also I felt like I had to because I had to catch the front or try at least. So
Yeah.
yeah,
No, I mean,
happy with my
and
run.
yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that the course in Placid kind of sets itself up to have that kind of, if you can push the watts the last quarter of the bike ride, you're going to make up a little bit of time, right? Because it's
Yeah,
those
yeah,
climbs coming back in. And yeah, I mean, I think you got to give, obviously, as give credit to the women that racing in front of you on the bike. Like her
yeah, for
and
sure.
Sanchez were just, they were racing, man. They were getting after it.
Yeah. It was really impressive, and I think it's and Lisa had a penalty as well, and how fast she
Yeah.
overcame that was also. I didn't know that during the race. I heard after the race, but I was so impressed by that as well because she was still like gaining time on me on the bike, and I didn't even know she had that penalty, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, really impressed by her, and also the way she just handled that penalty as well. It can like sometimes feel a bit unfair, and you can get a bit like out of your game just mentally by something like that. But she was handling that really well, and also was really happy for me. And it would have been cool if she hadn't had that penalty to it could have been a really close race actually. So in the end there, so like for me it was kind of nice that that it was a bit less to chase, of course, but
Yeah, you never know how dynamics.
Really impressed.
Yeah, you never know how dynamics go. But I agree, like that calling the race, the fact that she got that penalty, and then I noticed within like 5 or 10 miles on the bike, she went by like in Placid there's little neighborhoods and people out in front of the driveway waving, and she went by one of those people and she was like waving at him, right? And I'm like, oh, that's a person that's clearly like let that go and is back in the race and back in her mindset. Yeah.
And she was happy at the finish line, and she was generally really happy for me as well, and like was smiling to me when I passed her. Like when I passed her on the run, she said like, "Oh, I was waiting for you," and just smiled. And she, such a great girl. So that's
awesome.
Really inspiring as well. And I think she can be actually a threat in Kona for everyone. It's like she liked the heat as well, and that was definitely not a hot day, so would have been cool to see how it had been if it had been hotter, right? I think she's just making big improvements really. So really exciting. She's also quite new to distance, so
no, I mean I think you're right, and I think most of the field that's racing world championships should be paying attention to the podium and honestly all the way the race in general in Placid, because you also had Tamara Jewett run a 240 off of the bike, right? Like the racing from those women second through fourth place, like they all showed that they have, and you as well, obviously, the capability to and the tools to do something at world championship level.
Yeah, for sure. 240 is always impressive, but to do it on that course, that's wild.
It's crazy, and I like it's funny again. And you're new to the sport, so I don't know how far down the result sheet you looked at Placid like years past, but Placid used to be like the first time a guy ran sub 3 hours, all of our heads exploded, right? Like it was crazy. And I just looked recently, and I think when Andy Potts won the race, and it was like 2013 or 14, he went the same time as you, right? In the men's winter, and it's just that hard of a course. What do you think it is? Is it the level with the Ironman Pro Series, and that there's just a bigger groups of talented people coming to those races? Is it the sum of all parts, aerodynamics, shoes, nutrition, like the fact that I think Heather Jackson won it with a 9:10 or something just 5 or 6 years ago?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of all those things, basically. I think the Pro Series makes more people travel there, obviously. Like, in general, I think it's been mainly American winners. And it's, of course, it's a lot of good triathletes from there as well. But as soon as you get, like, the whole world traveling there, it will, of course, be, like, more people to fight for the podium. But I think also the big one is maybe... like equipment, aerodynamics and stuff is a lot on the bike especially. And I think on the run is a bit the shoes, but mainly actually the whole race is mainly the nutrition, both like in races that you take in much more, but also that you take in more in training as well, which makes you able to actually train better for the races as well. So I think nutrition is a really big one in why you see improvements in basically all endurance sports.
No, and that keeps coming up. And, I was able to have Christian on the pod not too long ago. We talked about the effects, and then talked with a gentleman from Morton about that, and the fact that, the men are getting close to 200 grams of carbs an hour. And that's crazy. Like, and I'm not familiar, but like how many grams of carbs an hour did you have in a race like Lake Placid?
I think I did around 130 maybe on the bike at least, and a bit less on the run. But yeah, still quite much. I haven't really tested with doing more. It's probably possible. I have never really had any big problems with my stomach or anything, so I could probably experiment a bit more with it. But of course, the boys also use way more calories, especially on the
Sure.
bike. So their need is probably even higher as well. But yeah, it's still interesting to dive more into for me as well, I think, in the future.
Yeah, and I think people underestimate that difference, and especially in a race like Lake Placid, where heat didn't wasn't an issue at all.
Yeah.
That if you always have energy and you always have gas in the tank, you can continue to push. And why there's possibility of these breakthrough performances, part of the reason why you
Yeah,
were
yeah.
able to run a 246 and not a 250 or 251 like you thought you were going to have to run on that course, because you can always just
Yeah, for sure.
lay on it, and then your body will tell you pretty quickly if it's too much, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. So okay. So incredible performances so far. You're obviously way high up in the standings now. You're in fourth place, but realistically, you've got Jackie Herring and Reichman have one more score race
Yeah.
to this point, and anything can happen. So we can't take that away from them. But
No, no, no.
athletes that have two scores is you and Kat, and you're just like, I think 400 points away. So it seems like it's pretty tight.
Yeah, I guess like I was around 7 minutes behind her in Hamburg, I think. So that's like what's this in between
Yeah,
us in like minutes?
yeah,
Because I
totally.
think both of us have like two wins except for Hamburg. So
Yeah, and can't ignore Marta Sanchez, just 500 points behind you, which is, I think,
no, no.
mostly the difference there. So things are tight. So you've got not much time left. We only have one race before World Championship season starts. Are you racing Zell or just saving for World Champs?
Yeah, I think I'll race Selam said just to if I do 6 races, I will at least have, or hopefully have at least 5 counting results just in case something happens in the World Championships. I hope
Yeah,
that something doesn't happen, but you never
sure,
know.
sure.
So
No, it's a smart way to race, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see some other big names on that start list, just to make it safe going around. And
no, yeah, I
uh,
think you're right.
so, of course, I was asked on the broadcast and then after the broadcast what I thought with your performance, and like, are you someone that is a risk in Kona? And I know, I'm sure you've thought about this or people have asked you, and I 100% agree. And I'm like, and people say when, and I'm like, well, I think this year. And obviously, it's a very different race because of the heat, but knowing that you're training with and around people that are very smart about that event and have obviously had really good success at that event. And
Mm.
I think a podium position for you there is certainly well within reach. What do you think, and what are your thoughts about Kona this year? Is it high performance based, looking for a podium, looking for those points, or is it still an experience type of thing to you?
Um, yeah, I think it will be really exciting this year. It's so many people that can fight for that podium. First
Yeah,
of all, so it's really exciting with so many people, like obviously so many who has done well there or done well before, like Laura and Kat, but also so many quite new people to Ironman, like Judy Darrow and Taylor Knibb.
yeah,
She has raced it before, of course, and did well there. But also, yeah, Lisa, as I said, could also feature, and of course Chelsea, and yeah, it's a lot of, and Lucy, of course.
yeah,
So
totally.
yeah. It's really hard to say, but I think it's fun that it's a lot of people with sort of different strengths and weaknesses. So I think the race dynamic could be quite cool, and I will just need to try to swim well and see who I can bike with. And I definitely want to do well, but for me, it's I generally like if I feel like I have prepared well and feel like I get out everything I have on the day, then if if that doesn't result in a podium, I will still be happy, if that makes sense. But
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, if it do result in a podium, that's even better. So we'll see.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And I think that's a great approach. And yeah, it's so funny and crazy the depth in women's racing at the world championship level now, because people
Yeah.
start talking about predictions and they obviously are saying Laura Phillip and Kat Matthews and your name, and then sometimes people will forget about Lucy, right?
Yeah,
And about
I almost forgot
Chelsea. It's
Lucy because
crazy.
there were so many other people to mention. So probably
Yeah, it's
forgot
crazy.
someone else as well. Like it's so many others who also can do well. So
Yeah,
it's
no,
crazy.
that's great. And I want to chat a little bit about, I mentioned it a second ago about the athletes that you've been able to train around, and obviously Mikkel having good success with them, but
Yeah.
being in the Norwegian method and kind of that crew, um, is there a confidence gained knowing, like seeing what Christian and Gustav have done and Casper now at this point, and just knowing that, okay, like they're doing the same stuff that I'm doing. There's like already a confidence that there's not as many question marks in like, does this work? You're like, we know this
Yeah.
works. Now I just
Yeah.
need to do that. Has that been helpful for you in this first big year in Ironman racing?
Yeah, I think so. And also just in general through my whole triathlon career, I would say just it's always been nice. Like ever since I started, they have been a part of the team, and just I just seen what they have done, and it's nothing magical, right? It's just really consistent training and a lot of it, and it's the same now. I think that I know what they are doing, and I know what
Yeah,
I'm doing, and yeah, it's just cool that we like this year all of us are having a quite good year. So
that's awesome. And it is funny because you're right. From the outside, people are like, "What's going on over there in Norway? It's crazy." And you guys are like, "Well, we're just doing the thing. We just show up every day."
yeah, but I understand that because like especially some of the things they post, it seems really complicated, right? And with all the
Yeah,
testing and stuff, but most of the time it's just training.
that's awesome. And is it like the dynamic? Does it feel very supportive from the outside? It seems like there is a camaraderie with all of you. And is there a camaraderie that feels like you go to a race and like everybody's excited for you to do your thing?
Like every Norwegian or in general?
Kind of your the team and kind of those
Oh
athletes
yeah.
that you've trained around. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a really good group, and we've been a lot of camp together in many years now, and this year I haven't been that much with Christian and Kasper and Gustav just because it's they're obviously not a part of the national team either now since they're doing long course, and
sure.
it's um, it's been a bit hard to try to plan training with them, like camps for instance, because so just how the calendars are now, like I did Hamburg and they did Frankfurt, which is some weeks
Right.
apart, and then they are in altitude now preparing for Nice, while I will go to altitude later because Kona is later, right? So
Right.
it's a bit of logistics around that. But yeah, maybe next year when it's all the same world championships and stuff, it's maybe easier. So I'm really excited for that to have everyone in one place. So
Yeah, oh, for sure. I think we're all super excited about it, and yeah, it'll be fun to watch all of you all kind of be on the same page doing the thing. And so I've got to ask. Obviously, we're pretty excited about where you're at, and obviously Pro Series coming up, and it would be hard to bet against you to be the person that could maybe take the Pro Series over Cat with some good World Championships. Are you short course racing? Is that still around? Still something you're thinking about for the future, or are we the more success we have in Ironman, the more it feels comfortable?
um yeah, when I started this year, I just decided that if I if I did long course this year, I wanted to focus 100% on that. So
Yeah,
that's why this year I'm not doing any short course at all. And then I just like decided that I wanted to see after the season
right.
what was felt more tempting. So I haven't like decided anything 100% yet, but I don't know. Right now I'm really enjoying long course, so we'll see it
Sure.
might just be the beginning of that. Yeah.
There you go. Well, if any of us have any input, we're all raising our hands over here in long course racing that you stick around, because what you are doing at your very young age and short time experience in the distance is crazy. And for me, honestly, it looks like the beginning of the story that we tell in 10 years about someone who's now won multiple world championships. It's like when it's very clear that you have a gift at this distance, and we all don't want you to waste that gift. So let's keep watching you do it.
Oh,
It's
that's
great.
really nice words. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And so question for, because you're so new, and it's often hard when I talk to kind of the best athletes in the sport. Like it's hard for me to have a conversation with Christian and after the ridiculous times that he has and say, okay, what's your advice for an amateur that's doing their first Ironman? Like it
Yeah.
doesn't have, it's really hard. And for you, it's also very similar because your times are just as ridiculous as Christian's, but you're so new to the distance. Is there anything you've learned over this year about your preparation, and whether it's mentally on the start line going into an Ironman, when you're racing the Ironman, or your prep, like what input would you have for a amateur athlete that's maybe trying to do better or going out for their first Ironman and maybe intimidated by that distance?
Well, for me, I think the best tip is just to don't stress too much about it. As we were talking about earlier, it's going to be a long day anyway, so just don't bother use MG on stressing too much beforehand. And
Yeah,
but yeah, still prepare well, of course. So of course, amateurs, it depends how much time they have for training, but just try to have a plan, and also a plan when it comes to fueling, which is really important no matter how fast you're going to go. And use something you have tried in training, some products you like,
yeah.
and tighten all the screws on your bike properly. That's always a good tip. And yeah, and if
Learned some
something
lessons
goes
this
wrong,
year.
you have you have time to fix that as well. So yeah, don't take it too seriously.
No, and I think that's like it. That sounds, to some maybe like, maybe not as important advice, but I think that's like the most important advice. And, people look at athletes that have won a world championship and say they had a perfect race. And very rarely is that the case.
Yeah,
It's the athlete that, as we were just saying with Lisa this last week, right? Like she
yeah,
got a
yeah,
penalty, brushed it off, and had a
yeah,
breakthrough performance and still was very close to winning that race. It's that, and you obviously in Placid maybe a little bit different, but you like not feeling your legs that well on
yeah,
the bike, and in training, like you could have gone into that race being like, I'm gonna bike like crap. This is gonna be
yeah,
terrible. But you're like, well, whatever, we'll figure it out. And
yeah.
if you've done the training and you execute in a smart way, like if Lisa got that penalty and then tried to get the 3 minutes back in like 5 miles, she did get it back pretty quick. But
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that would also, not be advantageous. So it's like,
yeah,
and you've shown that patience through adversity or through maybe bad legs can turn around, right?
yeah, and for age groupers as well. As I said, it is a long day, so if you if something goes wrong, then it doesn't really help either. That's the thing. It doesn't really help you to get real disappointed or stressed
Right.
or like freak out about it. You just need to try to stay calm and see how you can fix it in the best way possible. Well, that can be everything like cramps or I don't know. Some things most likely will happen. As you said, it's really rarely you have a perfect race. So basically, just expect that something can happen, and if it does, then you're not freaking out about it. You just try to solve it and overcome it, and you can still have a good race in the end. Like you have many hours probably left to make up for it, or yeah, to make it good again.
For sure. And if you look at if you think about where the results are at the end of the day, rarely are things decided by the time you've lost in
Yeah,
that thing, right? And I've seen a lot of different athletes at finish lines in races I've done or races that I've commentated where you've got an athlete that had huge adversity, forgot about it, had a great race, and then at the same time you'll have an athlete that had like a small diversity, and as soon as they cross the finish line, that's all they're talking about,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the races are very different because of that.
I think the Lake Placid male winner as well, Matthew, is a really good example on that as
Crazy.
well, right? With his cramping, and he just like it's so cool to see in a way that he can just you could just think that he's so out of the race, but now everyone knows that he definitely isn't, right?
That's awesome. Yeah, we're gonna start having like a different T1 time for Marquardt to be like,
Yeah.
because, and it's great. And I said that during the race, and he actually said he heard it in the intercom when he was through transition, about like how smart he is, and he has now the ability to have forethought with uh, adversity. I think
Yeah.
I just called it diversity a second ago. And he has that plan and says like, okay, I know this is going to happen. So it's a little bit different, but still, it's like it's showing that he's aware, and athletes like you are aware that those little bits of time don't matter. Continue
Yeah.
carrying on, and I think that's really the best advice you could give to amateurs. So that's awesome. Um, and we're going to let you go here in a second, but I will say last couple things. I gotta say, I'm pretty excited about your World Champ season coming up. Like I see all the you have all the tools to be able to be there for a World Championship. Like you ran a 1:16 in Venice Solo, which is like part of the puzzle to be able to win World Championship. And I know like in Topal last year, it seemed like you just didn't have your legs on the bike and the run. Like it
Uh,
wasn't quite there.
no, but I also actually had a mechanical there as well.
You did. Okay.
I had like 5 minutes where I was standing still, basically. I just I,
There you go.
I should have been able to fix it myself, but I think like I dropped my chain, my gears went into like crash mode or something, but I
Right.
had never this experienced that before, so I just thought my gears had stopped working completely, and it was really funny. I was like in the bottom of this quite steep hill, and I was just on a big chain ring in the hardest gear, and I couldn't ride off. I was just
Oh,
it was
really?
impossible in that gear. So and I was just thinking like I I'm certain I charged my gears, but now it seems like they're out of battery or something. So I was just a bit stressed. But luckily the mechanics came quite fast there. But yeah, I still lost 5 minutes or something, and I didn't have that good of a day except for that. So with those 5 minutes, in addition to that, it was in total not a very good race.
No, and I mean, those 5 minutes, and I know you're not doing shoulda, coulda, woulda, but I can because that's my thing. That puts you in the top like five or six in that race theoretically, and like dynamics
Yeah,
are
yeah,
different.
maybe.
But so, anyways,
But
for
that
me,
doesn't mean
no,
anything, right? In
no.
the
But
end.
when you're me and you get to look forward to the new World Championships, I look at those things and see that again, you have all the pieces to the puzzle to be able to be on the top step, whether it's in Kona this year, next year, or in Marbella this year. You have all the tools and you have that laid back attitude. And I think maybe your biggest weapon is that no one else really, I don't think, that has the capabilities of being on the podium or winning the world championships this year will be going into the world championships as like laid back as you are. And I don't underestimate that weapon that you have. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, maybe. I hope so. It's a new me this year. I was a bit less laid back in short course, I think. But yeah, this year I generally I enjoy it.
I will say Ironman distance racing looks good on you, and we hope you stick around for a while.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Thanks so much, Solveig. Appreciate it, and best of luck in your build up to Zell and World Champs. And look forward to being able to call those races for you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
That's awesome. So great to be able to have a chat with someone with such great success, but also having that still in that new laid back kind of no expectations mode that Solveig has. That's great. Hope you enjoyed that chat. And obviously, the Ironman Pro Series, things are getting tight, things are getting hot. Just a few races left, just one race before World Championship season. So we're in the thick of it. It's going to be great. Looking forward to it. And to stay across all the latest in the Ironman Pro Series news, follow at Ironman Tri on Instagram and check out proseries.ironman.com for standings, athlete bios, episodes of Fighting Chance, replays of all the races, and more. And of course, I want to thank our presenting sponsor, Morton, the official sports performance nutrition partner of the Ironman Global Series. And all Ironman athletes have access to Morton hydrogels and solids out on course in 2025. Thanks so much to them. We couldn't do this podcast without them. And if you like this conversation, please like, share, and subscribe wherever you listen to this podcast. And if you're on the trainer, you can also watch the podcast on the Ironman Triathlon YouTube channel. Thanks so much for joining us today on the Ironman Insider Podcast presented by Morton. Be sure to keep an eye on the space as we head into the World Championship season. We're going to have a lot of good conversations heading in and some insight from the athletes at the very top. I'm your host, Matt Lieto. Thanks so much for listening in.